How does a farm kid from small-town Utah go from fixing tractors in dusty fields to running one of YouTube's most popular off-road recovery channels? Matt Wetzel wasn't born famous, and he certainly didn't start with Hollywood-style production. What he had was grit, creativity, and a bright yellow Jeep that fans now recognize instantly. Millions tune in to see him pull off rescues most people wouldn't even attempt. But Matt's journey isn't just about vehicles in trouble. It's about risk, controversy, and resilience. Because behind the recoveries and the fame came challenges that nearly destroyed it all. Matt Wetzel's story starts in Hurricane, Utah, a small desert town surrounded by red rock trails and farmland. He was one of 9 kids, 7 sisters, 1 brother, and his childhood was anything but easy. Growing up on a farm meant chores started before sunrise, whether it was planting, harvesting, or keeping machinery running. That early life taught him the kind of discipline that doesn't just build muscles, but also a mindset. If something breaks, you figure out a way to fix it. Unlike many creators who went to college or chased city dreams, Matt stayed local, working side by side with his family. He learned how to weld, how to repair, and most importantly, how to improvise solutions when the right tools weren't around. Locals began noticing that he was the kind of guy you could call if something went wrong, whether it was a stuck tractor, a jammed engine, or just a neighbor who needed a hand. This combination of responsibility and resourcefulness planted the first seeds of what would later define Matt's career. Without realizing it, he was training for the high-pressure recoveries that would make him famous. Every time he solved a problem on the farm, he was building confidence and skills that would one day be tested in the most extreme situations. But farming alone wasn't Matt's future. He was destined to take those lessons beyond the fields. After high school, Matt didn't immediately jump into towing or off-road recovery. Instead, he entered the roofing business, a path that lasted 12 long years. 10 of those years were spent working under someone else, and eventually he co-founded Skyline Roofing with his partner Adam Stout. On paper, it looked like success. He was running crews, managing finances, and learning how to operate a business. But inside, Matt knew something wasn't right. Roofing paid the bills, but it wasn't his passion. He's admitted in interviews that he often felt drained by the monotony, and the work didn't spark the same excitement that problem-solving did. Still, this detour was more important than it seemed. Running a company gave Matt discipline in scheduling, dealing with clients, and understanding how to handle money, skills that would become crucial once he started his own ventures. It also gave him a hunger for independence. Matt realized he didn't want to spend his life climbing rooftops. He wanted to build something of his own. The roofing years were like a boot camp, teaching him what it meant to be responsible for more than just himself. And while it wasn't glamorous, it was training him to handle pressure, deadlines, and leadership. By the late 2000s, roofing wasn't enough. Matt wanted change. He needed work that matched his love of mechanics and problem-solving. That's when he made a decision that would change his life forever. He bought a towing company. In 2009, Matt purchased the assets of a small towing shop and launched Red Ryder Towing, which later became Winder Towing. This wasn't just a career shift, it was the start of everything. Located near the adventurous trails of southern Utah, Matt's business was perfectly positioned for unusual calls. Regular tow trucks handled highways, but Matt's phone often rang for something else. Vehicles stranded deep in sand, stuck on rocky ledges, or broken down in places no ordinary truck could reach. At first, Matt had no formal training in off-road recovery. What he did have was experience from friends, trial and error, and his relentless determination. He experimented with ropes, winches, and homemade tools. He built and modified his rigs with what he called fabric cobbling, a mix of welding, improvising, and raw instinct. Each recovery taught him something new about physics, angles, and vehicle dynamics. These jobs weren't just about pulling cars out, they were puzzles. Every stuck vehicle was a challenge, and solving those challenges gave Matt a reputation as the guy who could handle recoveries no one else dared attempt. Locals started calling him not just for towing, but specifically for tough off-road situations. This was more than a business. It was the beginning of a personal brand built on skill, resilience, and ingenuity. But while Matt was earning respect in Utah, he had no idea that soon his recoveries would be broadcast to millions worldwide. And it all started with a simple iPhone. On March 28, 2019, Matt uploaded his very first video to a channel he named Matt's Off-Road Recovery. There was no fancy camera crew, no elaborate editing, just Matt, his family, and an iPhone. Sometimes his wife Amy filmed, other times his kids helped, and often he set the camera up himself. The formula was simple: a call for help, the journey to the site, and the recovery itself, but viewers loved it. Within 6 months, some of his videos had already crossed 1 million views. Fans were drawn to the raw authenticity, the sight of a yellow Jeep pulling out trucks buried in sand, or Matt calmly handling situations that looked impossible. His personality made it work too. He wasn't flashy, he was relatable, almost like a neighbor who just happened to have insane skills. As the channel grew, so did his crew. Ed became a fan favorite for his calm wisdom, Rudy for his humor and energy, and Lizzie for her sharp skills and quick learning. Even the yellow Jeep Cherokee XJ became a character of its own, instantly recognizable by fans around the world. By 2020, Matt wasn't just a local tow operator, he was a YouTube star with millions of subscribers, merchandise sales and sponsorships rolling in. But while everything on camera looked golden, off-camera a storm was forming. Because with rapid growth came scrutiny, and soon Matt's world would face a challenge far bigger than any stuck vehicle. In 2021, shocking news surfaced. Matt Wetzel, the face of Matt's off-road recovery, was charged with multiple counts of insurance fraud connected to his towing business, Winder Towing. The allegations claimed that between 2018 and 2020, his company had billed AAA for jobs that were exaggerated, or in some cases allegedly never performed. Prosecutors filed 1 felony count of insurance fraud and several related charges. For fans who saw Matt as honest and hard-working, the news was a gut punch. Reddit threads lit up with debates. Some viewers were heartbroken, worried this would destroy the credibility of the man they had come to admire. Critics pounced, questioning whether his on-screen persona matched his off-screen business practices. Matt pleaded not guilty at first, but by 2022, he reached a plea deal. The charges were reduced, and instead of prison time, he received probation and was ordered to pay restitution. For many supporters, this was a relief. He wouldn't disappear from YouTube, but the stain of controversy was undeniable. It could have been the end. In the age of cancel culture, one scandal can sink even the biggest names. And yet something surprising happened. Matt's core community stood by him. They flooded his videos with encouragement, insisting everyone makes mistakes. What could have been a career-ending scandal instead became a turning point. Matt's reputation was bruised, but not broken, and his comeback was only just beginning. Instead of running from the controversy, Matt leaned on the very thing that had carried him this far: his community. His crew, his family, and millions of loyal fans refused to let the story end with a courtroom headline. Slowly, he rebuilt. Transparency became a bigger focus in how he presented his business, and his channel only grew stronger. Matt expanded merchandise sales, launching his own line of kinetic recovery ropes and branded gear that fans snapped up. His Hurricane, Utah shop became both a workplace and a storefront, buzzing with supporters who drove from across the country just to meet him and the crew. Content improved too. No longer just shaky iPhone clips, his videos evolved into high-quality productions with drone shots, smoother editing, and more engaging storytelling. But even with better production, the heart of the channel stayed the same: real recoveries, real challenges, and a genuine crew that felt like family. What could have been a career-ending scandal turned into an opportunity for growth. Viewers began to see Matt not only as a skilled rescuer, but also as a man who had faced mistakes, taken responsibility, and kept moving forward. And if there's one thing fans love more than watching a Jeep pull a truck out of quicksand, it's watching a person rise after being knocked down. Matt's redemption wasn't just about business, it was about resilience. But he wasn't content with just bouncing back. He had even bigger plans for the future. Matt has hinted at bold plans for the future. Beyond the iconic yellow Jeep Cherokee XJ, he's been working on building custom recovery rigs designed specifically for extreme terrain. These aren't show cars, they're machines built to test the limits of recovery work in sand, rock, and backcountry trails. Fans have already shown massive interest in these projects, eager to see what Matt and his team create next. There's also talk of expanding beyond Utah. While most recoveries happen around Zion National Park and Sand Hollow, viewers constantly suggest he travel to Arizona, Nevada, or even international locations. The idea of seeing his techniques tested on new landscapes excites fans who know that each environment brings its own unique challenges. Another likely direction is education. Many viewers tune in not just for entertainment, but for knowledge. Matt's calm explanations, safety tips, and on-the-spot problem-solving have already taught countless people how to approach off-road recovery. Imagine workshops, recovery boot camps, or even online courses where he breaks down techniques in detail. It would transform his brand from just a channel into a global resource for off-roaders. Through it all, his legacy is already clear: resilience, ingenuity, and a refusal to quit. From farm kid to roofer, from small-town tow operator to YouTube icon, Matt has built a story that inspires millions. His legal setbacks didn't end him, they added another chapter. And as long as vehicles keep getting stuck in impossible places, Matt Wetzel will keep proving that no trail is truly impassable.